everybody! Welcome back to the most mediocre podcast in the Star Wars universe, the 1313 podcast. I'm Jackson.
I'm Tommy.
Welcome back, all of you Regs and all of you Shinies, to another fantastic episode of the podcast. Unfortunately, we do not have Jacob with us today. It was a scheduling conflict. His group at school could only meet on the day that we were going to shoot, so... womp womp. Guess we'll have him back next week. But before we begin, if you're not already subscribed to our channel, please make sure to subscribe. If you want to talk about Star Wars every single day of the week, you should join our Discord. It is the best Star Wars Discord on the planet, and I will stand by that till I die. If you would like to help support the channel monetarily, please consider becoming a channel member or even a patron. Patrons get our episodes early. They're really getting them like a day early now, I should say.
They are getting
and you
like
get
a day early
access to exclusive content like bloopers that come out sometimes. But we also have a Twitch, an X, and an Instagram, and we are still in the process of switching over merch. You'll hear about that soon, I promise. We will stop saying that eventually. Tommy, how was your week?
My week was good. As far as housekeeping goes, I have just one quick thing.
Yep.
If you are on our YouTube channel membership, which is just 99 cents a month.
That is true.
You will actually get, I've been posting my reviews that I've been doing early for channel members.
Okay.
So if you're on the channel membership, you will get to watch the reviews that we do early. I literally had like one that was like out 2 days early, like the one that comes out tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
As we're recording this. They've like all the channel members have already seen it for a day.
Sheesh.
So if you like our reviews and you want to see more of those, be sure to check out the channel membership. You get exclusive early access to that stuff right there.
Nice. That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah.
What else has been up?
Well, this past weekend we did a 501st Troop.
We did. Fives was not done, unfortunately, for it. But
yeah.
I came as a handler for Tommy, and I still had a blast.
And our good friend Hybrid Toy Reviews, shout out to Hybrid and his channel. He came out as well because he was squiring for the first time. It was so much fun. I remember at this event, it was our local hockey team's Star Wars night. So the first time we did this last year, that was actually my first troop that I did.
I thought it was Zubu.
No, my first troop. I squired at Zubu.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Okay.
But yeah, last year I think there were maybe 15 of us. This year there were 30.
Yeah, there was an insane amount of people.
We had people from Rebel Legion. We had people from 501st Legion. If you don't know, Rebel Legion is like the good guy costumes version of 501st Legion.
Yeah.
We had a bunch of clones. There was a guy with the Commander Thorn with a working rotary cannon.
That was pretty hype. Shout out
nuts.
Thorn. That was so cool.
Yeah, and then we had a live-action movie-style armor, Commander Appo, a 327th Star Corps Grunt, and we had a... No, that was it.
That was it. And then it was Blitz and Bly.
Blitz and Bly, and we had General Kenobi there.
Yep.
So that was cool.
That was really dope.
Yeah, it was so much fun, especially to troop with other clones for the first time. That was my first time trooping with other guys who were clones. It was just there's a different kind of energy and atmosphere that comes with being with those like super fans. Really, when I go to 501st events, I really just go into a period for a while afterwards where I have a completely different outlook. I think we get super sucked into because we have a YouTube channel, we have a TikTok, we have an X, we have all this social media, we have a platform that we upkeep. We are constantly in this tiny little bubble that is the internet, and we are constantly defending stuff, bashing stuff, having crazy opinions about this, that, and the third, and having to listen to other people's outrageous takes. And all the time, it's like, especially with some of our recent TikToks, we've gotten a lot of comments from and as I say, a lot of men in their 20s to 30s.
Yeah.
Grumpy men that are like, Disney Star Wars is the worst. Disney Star Wars sucks. There was a really special moment when that I'll never forget when we were at that troop. This little girl came up. She's probably 8 to 10 years old, I want to say. She came up to all of us, and she knew the names of all the characters. She knew the distinction of a clone trooper versus a stormtrooper. And I was looking down at her, and she had this stuffed Lola droid that was this big stuffed. And I looked, I said, "Oh, that's Lola." And then she turned around and she looked at me, and I realized that she was dressed as little Leia from the Kenobi series. Yeah. And she had the green poncho, her hair was done like little Leia. And seeing that made me so happy. And also seeing there was another little girl that came up dressed as Rey Skywalker with the yellow lightsaber. And that was another special moment. Or the little boys who would come running up to us, knowing the specific name of every clone trooper standing in the line and asking us for signatures.
That was pretty funny. Because there was like a chain reaction after that.
Yeah. Once the first boy did it, then all the little boys. And there were boys dressed up as the Mandalorian. And for me, it's the stuff like that that really kind of bring me back. And I think it's really easy to get lost in the sauce. Actually, shout out to Out of the Basement on their Lazy Sunday live stream this past Sunday. They talked about that at length for like, I would honestly recommend, they right at the beginning for like 45 minutes. It was them and Luke Monster talked about that topic, that very getting lost in the sauce with the negativity and feeling so sucked in because you have a platform. And I'll get off my soapbox, but at the end of the day, I think it's so good for me to go to those events because it helps me realize what this franchise and this fandom is actually about. It's about families and bringing people together and bringing up next generations of fans. And that is why Star Wars is so unique from every other franchise out there because it's generational. You do not have other franchises that are generational in the way that a Star Wars obsession is.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to share the positive, the positive stuff, and it completely changes my outlook on this fandom. And as much as people want to bitch and complain and throw their negativity all over the internet, it just proves the point that yes, that is a very, very small vocal minority of the Star Wars fandom. So
yeah, there's plenty of people there that enjoyed it. I mean, again, just like people young and old that would like walk up to the characters and be like, oh my gosh, it's Star Wars. And like,
right.
not really even know the characters half the time, but like know that it was Star Wars and be able to connect over it because somebody had showed it to them or they showed it to their kids in that kind of a manner. And it was nice. It really made me appreciate doing it. It makes me more excited to almost finally be done. I think the Garrison's schedule right now looks like the only other event I can do is on May the 4th. But that's if they don't add an earlier event. They have another one that's like 4 hours away, and it's during a lab that I have, so I can't commit to it.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. But yeah, super excited for that. Loved it to death.
Yeah.
I feel like something that I've been scheming for the past 2 days is for if you've been a member of the channel for a long time, you will know that I minor in religion at my school. And so I do a lot of like projects based on that I've done in video format about the podcast and whatnot.
The Patreon exclusive.
So the Patreon, this is what I'm saying. You get exclusive content, the Patreon exclusive Jackson final project videos. But I had a really good idea for a final project video that I might just propose to the teacher tomorrow. Just because, to make a long story short, the idea for my topic is going to be loosely based off of how reading ancient scripture can help you understand or even predict the futures in like Star Wars. Ooh. And so what I want to wrap that around is the character of Ezra from Rebels, and then Enoch as well, just because in my class is called Apocalypse to Zombie, and it's basically understanding the Jewish Torah apocalypse in the book of Daniel versus the Christian apocalypse in Revelation, and then also the apocalypse narrative from First Enoch, which is in some versions of either of those texts, depending on if you're an Orthodox Christian, or I forget which designation of Jew might have Enoch in their version of the Bible. But basically, it's about Enoch is this great servant of God who oversees all these things, such as Enoch is now the servant of a very high power who's seeking to make great change. And the story of Ezra is about coming in basically like as a redemption and bringing forth like a new change for the Israelites. And so I feel like I might be able to connect the two topics in a very specific way to basically tell the story of Ezra in Star Wars and Ezra in the scripture versus Enoch in the show, the very little bit that we have of him,
Right.
versus what's in First Enoch, to predict like what could happen in Ahsoka season 2, and this is how you would be able to tell based on their narratives. But again, it's a work in progress right now. If I do that as a video, I would actually like to do that as a regular, like, I'll post it publicly for people video.
Yeah.
Just because I think that could be cool. Granted, I'm a nerd like that, so I don't think a lot of people are going to care. But I like the idea, so I would be really interested to do that. And if I did it, it would have to be like 15, 20 minutes because I can't bore my teacher to death by talking for an hour.
First off, I think that'd be a fantastic project. And I also think that it would be more than welcome as a Star Wars YouTube channel video, or even like posting it as a podcast episode by itself.
Yeah.
Like a short. I think that's a great idea. So
I think it'd be
I say
cool.
go for it.
Yeah, but again, it's still a work in progress. I need to read the rest of, I've only read like the first 36 chapters of Enoch, and then I need to reread Ezra because I haven't in a while, just so I might like binge read it tonight so I can propose it to my teacher tomorrow and be like, this is what I want to do. And I want to do it in a video because I already heard some other kids saying he wanted to do a video project.
Okay.
And I've consistently done video projects for all my other religion teachers. And this one knows the teacher I've done them for. So be like, well, she let me do it and you're best friends with her. So can you let me do it? I won't disappoint you. So we'll see. But I've been like really inspired by the Book of Enoch to like do this kind of a thing.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's a fantastic idea.
Heck yeah. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot. We forgot this bit of housekeeping. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah,
that
we
forgot.
did.
But if you are a Patreon member, by the time this episode is live, we will have hopefully, because last time it wasn't on the exact day, done our Patreon monthly giveaway. For January's monthly giveaway, we were actually going to give away Omega in her Bad Batch Season 2 appearance, just because we are super stoked about the Bad Batch, and this is the perfect representation of the character as an animated style brought into the Black Series. So we want to be able to give that to you. This will be the prize for January. We will give this away very, very soon, though.
Literally, as we're recording this tomorrow, the giveaway is going to come out.
Hopefully, because the last time we said that, somebody clipped that and put it in the Discord and be like, remember you said it was going to come out? But I just picked this up this morning before I went to work, so we wouldn't forget it.
I will be available. I can record the live stream. Did you use the company card?
I didn't actually. I was going to talk to you guys about that later. I reorganized.
We have company cards for
I know
a reason.
that. I reorganized my wallet and I put the company card into my wallet number 2, and I was in a rush this morning, and because I've been up since 4 a.m. like dashing, and I'm running off caffeine, and I couldn't find the company card, so I said, screw it, I'll just ask somebody to reimburse me later, so we'll figure it out.
Yeah, anyways.
Because then I also got distracted, because if you're in our Discord, shout out to the Discord, I picked up the Rex and Pawn Krell Funko set that just came out, and I was like, Rex!
Yeah,
so
boy.
I was hyped about that. What if I did a Funko review? That's never been done before. I was thinking of it. I thought that could be
3
cool.
minutes. Be super easy.
Oh yeah, 3 minutes, super easy video. We'll see.
Anyway.
We'll see.
But yeah, so as far as Star Wars news goes, there was something that I guess we missed on last week's podcast episode. This bit of information actually came out right before we recorded our episode last week. So that this is from StarWars.com, so you can actually go read this article yourself.
Not revealed in a dream.
Yes, not telling me to follow the rats and the flies. That according to the team working on the Bad Batch season 3, Asajj Ventress's story will be consistent with the Dark Disciple book. Now,
which is whack.
Which is crazy because so I wonder. I feel like as I'm thinking about it more, it kind of explains itself. So in the book, Count Dooku.
Spoiler alert! If you haven't read the book. But it's also been out for years, so L.
It's been out for like 10 years, so that's your fault. But in the book, Count Dooku zippy zappies Quinlan Voss, and Asajj Ventress jumps in front of him and saves his life. In doing so, Count Dooku literally force lightnings her so much that she turns to a pile of ash, which we've never seen in Star Wars before. So what Quinlan does is he takes Asajj's ashes to Dathomir and pours them in a well or a body of water. I don't remember which. It's been a while since I read it, but he pours them in a body of water where Night Sisters are taken to be buried, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I could assume that some sort of Night Sister magic brings her back to life, and she's essentially still being Ahsoka's foil in that she comes back to life.
Mm-hmm.
And she continues her story into the Bad Batch, so... What is your thoughts on that, Jackson?
I don't know. It's very confusing. This was all revealed to me earlier before we started the show.
Dream.
Not in a dream. But I don't know. See, the issue that I have in thinking about that's how she came back is that very well could be true and she was resurrected that way. I just feel like when we see her in the Bad Batch, it's not going to be like, oh my gosh, Asajj Ventress, and she's going to be like, aha, I'm back when, Dooku killed me and then Quinlan Voss also threw me in a well and then I was resurrected. Kind of an ordeal. Like, she's not going to go into her, I don't foresee her explaining her backstory the show called The Bad Batch, not the Ventress TV show.
She's going to lore dump on the Bad Batch.
Yeah, I don't think she's going to lore dump on us at all. So, I mean... She very well could be in it, and we might not get an explanation, but that's also supposed to be part of the narrative. You're not supposed to know what Sid ate for breakfast like 2 days before she turned the batch into hemlock.
Dude, just to throw, this made me think of when I would do my D&D campaign with my friends. My buddy Peter, shout out to Gator.
Shout out Gator. You're not watching the show, Gator.
Never watched the show, Gator. He had a character and he made one of his character's traits. And it was one of those campaigns where no one knew anything about each other's characters going in. He made one of his character's traits that every time he meets someone new, he lore dumps his entire life story. So you would just have to sit every time that our buddy Paul, shout out Paul, would introduce a new character, a new NPC, Peter would have his character take literally 10 minutes and just lore dump his entire life story onto the new character.
That's just annoying.
Anyways, but
I don't see Ventress doing that. I mean, maybe we'll get a detail about what happens, but we're also not so sure what context she's in because the clips that we see of her are very much spliced together with ones of the Bad Batch, so it doesn't look consistent with the scene.
Do you think Echo would know who she is from the Battle of Kamino?
Let me think. I'm gonna say no because Echo was in a different location.
He was, but I mean, I would assume he knows of her.
I would assume, yeah, because he knows big important things from the Clone Wars that he was involved in. But they didn't meet on the Battle of Kamino, so maybe he would have heard of her but not met her.
You know who else might have beef with Asajj Ventress?
Commander Wolf.
Commander Wolf.
That's never been shown or explained.
It wasn't a comic.
But
comics are not canon.
Comics are not technically canon.
Comics
sometimes.
are usually loosely canon.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The Star Wars scholars deciding what goes in the final canon book of Star Wars.
AKA Dave Filoni saying, I don't like that. I don't like that. That would be, because there's a comic book where Commander Wolf gets his eye sliced by Asajj Ventress.
Mm-hmm.
So...
I don't know. I guess crazy. We'll see. That would be cool. But crazy. Yeah, super hyped for Bad Batch. Is your computer touchscreen?
Yeah, it is. Why?
I'm just trying to see how many weeks we have. We have 1, 2,
3 weeks.
Holy cow!
Oh boy!
Oh my gosh, dude! It's even better than I thought.
That means we only have to struggle through 2 more weeks of coming up with podcast topics.
And the week before the Bad Batch, we could just do a Bad Batch recap. I call that a wrap. The 1313 audience in disbelief that we make up the show as we go.
Us literally right before we turn the camera on. Oh yeah, let's do that one topic.
No, but
oh god,
no, that's exciting. See,
yeah,
I forgot to mention it in my conversation with shout out to Hybrid and Hunter. I was chatting with y'all the other night on Xbox. We were just kind of briefly going through Bad Batch stuff, and the biggest question that I can't believe I didn't ask yet and nobody else has is, what time is Bad Batch coming out? you're dropping a 3-episode premiere.
Wait.
Is this coming out at 3 a.m.? Or is this going to come out at, what was it, like 8 or 9 p.m. is when we got the newest episodes of Ahsoka? No, it was 6 p.m.
It was.
Because it was early. So
I would come home from work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are we going to get Bad Batch episodes before our night ends? Or am I going to wake up early again for Bad Batch? I feel like that's a really big question.
No. Well, we have seen Ahsoka came out at, I think Ahsoka came out at 9 p.m., but at
Maybe
6 p.m. was the
9.
first episode.
Yeah, because they could honestly do an earlier release. I would expect them to do that, but I'm wondering what time it would be at.
I'm thinking 9 p.m. Eastern time because Percy Jackson, which I just watched the final episode of today.
That was the final episode?
It was only 8 parts. Yeah.
What? They have so many more chapters. All right, whatever. Continue.
Well, they already set up for like the next book. But, that also, all those episodes came out at 9 p.m.
Yeah, because Disney was trying the 9 p.m. format, and I feel like it only helped that Ahsoka performed so well. I mean, shoot, if it comes out at 9 p.m. on Wednesdays, damn, then we'll have to shoot podcasts either that night or Thursday.
That would be wild.
That
actually, yeah. Oh, crap.
Yeah, that's going to be a crunch. Sorry, patrons, no more early episode.
No more podcasts.
No more TikToks. No, but I mean, they're going to tell us like as it gets closer. Obviously, that wasn't going to be like the initial post of it'll come out with 3 episodes at this time. I feel like we'll get it like 2 weeks, a week before they'll tell us. But
that's what
I've been thinking about that for so long too, because I have consistently woken up at 3 a.m. for all brand new Star Wars releases. I believe that as a super fan, I want to see it the second it comes out because I'm just that excited for these shows. And so I'm okay if it comes out early. I'll wake up early again for it. I don't care. But if it comes out at night, then I'm going to be like, oh, shoot. Like,
they just conveniently don't have a time of day.
Yeah, I kind of saw that when I was looking over stuff.
Yeah.
Dang, though. Okay, well, I guess we'll have to figure it out.
Man.
That was it. Woo.
So, for this week's podcast topic, this was one that we were going to do last week, and then we didn't because of course, the Bad Batch 3 trailer. But we wanted to talk about a little bit of reminiscing. It's been about probably 5 years now since
crazy
our comeback to the Star Wars franchise. Now, I want to preface this with, believe it or not, we were not always as into Star Wars as we are now. Believe it or not. In high school, we played Battlefront 2, but beyond that, I mean, we didn't really have like a huge love for Star Wars. I was still like way more into like Marvel, because that was like when Endgame was coming out and all that. Mm-hmm. And then 2019 rolled along. I was in my freshman year of college. Yeah. You would have been in your senior year of high school.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And 2019 was a very, very special part of our lives that really brought us back into Star Wars and led us to this show. Mm-hmm. So, Jackson, what are your initial takes here?
Yeah, I know this is kind of something that we mentioned before on the show, but really we've consistently said time and time again that The Rise of Skywalker and The Mandalorian was the turning point of Star Wars for us. Just because I've talked about before, in my high school years, I really didn't care that much about Star Wars anymore. I was more concerned with playing Destiny because I was kind of filling a void of like a space adventure thing. And I was able to play with my friends because there wasn't any new Star Wars content.
Right.
And I saw the movies and I really enjoyed them. But that was also because I wasn't online all the time for Star Wars, and I wasn't subjected to the toxic wasteland that is the sequels debate. But I mean, as time went on, we got the Mandalorian and the Rise of Skywalker. Mandalorian came out before Rise of Skywalker because they had to release an episode a few days early of The Mandalorian to basically explain that Force healing was a thing. So when Rey did it in the movies release, then it wasn't like, oh my gosh, kind of thing, because Grogu did it to
Grief Karga.
yeah, Grief Karga, and then Rey did it to
The Serpent and Kylo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But even at the time, The Mandalorian was a show that I had always really been anticipating. I forget which celebration it was at, but they announced that they were doing a show about a Mandalorian or Mandalorians in general, and they had the promo image of Din Djarin in his old uniform, just kind of like walking around. And like I was freaking out because I thought it was the coolest thing ever, because I was a Mandalorian diehard because of Django and then Sabine and Rebels. I thought that was like the coolest thing ever. But yeah, I feel like without the release of The Mandalorian and then even the ending of the sequel trilogy, we wouldn't have been back into Star Wars as much as we are now.
Yeah. For me, my initial takes on The Mandalorian, it was very much like Andor for me. I don't remember being super excited for The Mandalorian before it aired. I mean, I saw the trailer. I wasn't really like hyped. Like when I think about the Bad Batch, I get like excited and I'm like hyped for the next season.
We're hyped.
When it came to The Mandalorian, it really wasn't until I remember I stayed up until 3 a.m. to watch that first episode.
We did the same thing too.
And I watched it in my dorm room at college. My roommate was sleeping and I invited my neighbor over to watch it. And also, if you don't remember, this is when Disney Plus was new. So it took almost 20 minutes for the episode to actually show up on Disney Plus for us. Yeah.
I don't even remember that.
I was looking it up and people were on Twitter and being like, oh, it's like taking a while because there's so many people logging in to watch the new Star Wars show.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I think it took like 20 or 25 minutes for the episode to actually pop up on Disney Plus. But we sat down, my buddy Ethan and I, we watched it. And it wasn't until like we sat down to watch it that I felt this like immense feeling of like almost like I was anxious and excited at the same time for this new Star Wars project. And right from the very first scene when the Mandalorian walks into the saloon and he kills all those bad guys and he uses his little cable to pull the guy into the door and chop him in half.
Yeah.
Right there, I was like, oh my, what am I watching? This is crazy. This is completely different from everything I've seen before. But, and then I remember, of course, at the end, seeing Baby Yoda at the time. We only knew him as Baby Yoda before he was even called the Child. And seeing him and my jaw dropping, like my friend and I just both... And then the credits rolled and we just looked at each other, jaws on the ground. And we were like, what did we just watch? And I watched it immediately again. We both watched it. We grabbed another guy that lived on our wing, woke him up from a dead sleep. And we were like, you have to come watch The Mandalorian. We sat down, we watched it again. I went to bed, I woke up, first thing I did, I watched it again. I think I watched it 9 times in the first 24 hours it was out. Yeah, I would go to class, I'd come back and I'd watch it. I'd go to lunch, I'd come back and I'd watch it. I was finding any and every opportunity to show it to someone, to watch it by myself. Like, and in that first week, I probably watched it 12 times. I think I watched it 3 more times before episode 2 of The Mandalorian came out. But yeah, so what was your initial take to that show?
I mean, yeah, the first episode kind of came and went and we were just like excited. I remember sitting down to watch it with Jacob and my dad and we were just like blown away by the fact that like this is like Star Wars and it's back. And it only got better and better in my opinion as just the episodes progressed and the story happened too, because at that point we had nothing that was kind of bridging Return of the Jedi to the
distant sequel trilogy.
Yeah, to the sequel trilogy. So this was all new territory to even touch. And this was really one of the first times in forever we had like genuine like lore like expansion.
Yeah.
Besides like Rebels or Resistance and such. But yeah, I remember when it finished, I was like, holy cow, like if this is like the next like way that Star Wars is going to go is like a show. And I was like, this is going to be like awesome. Like it was the coolest thing ever. And I'm trying to remember for the life of me, didn't The Mandalorian come out and then Bad Batch season 1 came out after that?
No, that wouldn't have been until a couple years later, because that was when we started.
No, you're
we started
right.
the podcast in 2021.
I'm trying to remember the order of things coming out.
It was Mando season 1.
Yeah.
And then I think the next show that came out would have been the Clone Wars season 7, because that came out in April and May.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, because we were in COVID when that season was coming out.
That was insane too. Yeah, I mean, even more of a reason to catapult us back in was the Clone Wars was ending, and that was like it. Then
there was
story
the
that
imminent
we had was finishing.
Yeah, the imminent announcement that it was coming, and this is the last season, and knowing Ahsoka's back, and what, and Darth Maul, and what, we're gonna see the Siege of Mandalore finally. It's been talked about for 10 years, like.
Yeah. The trailer for the announcement of the Clone Wars coming back even still gives me chills when it's like all the helmets like in a row and it's playing all the clips, and then the artillery shell comes down and just wipes them all out, and it's like the story is like finishing, and then it shows like the clips from like the first like episode with the Venators all in the sky with Rex and Hunter and Anakin. I think is
knowing
also
the Bad Batch arc was coming.
Mm-hmm.
For me, the Clone, to keep on the same topic of shows.
Yeah.
I distinctly remember, again, there's just certain moments I remember everything. I remember this had to have come out 2019 in the summer. The trailer for Clone Wars season 7. Because I was living at my parents' house. I was laying on my bed on my stomach. I was on my phone right by the window that was at the end of my bed, and I was like the breeze was blowing. And I remember the sun was out. And I was on YouTube.
Man describing the whole thing.
Dude, I was on YouTube and just watching other things on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then I saw Clone Wars trailer. What? And I looked. It was from the official Star Wars account. I was like, what's this? They didn't advertise it as a Clone Wars trailer either, did they? No. They advertised it as like Clone Wars something.
Clone Wars Returns. Clone Wars isn't dead. I'm trying to remember what it was. Clone Wars Saved. That's what it was.
There was a hashtag.
Yeah, hashtag Clone Wars Saved.
Hang on. I gotta find this. Clone Wars Season 7 trailer. They might have changed it.
Maybe. I forget, to be honest.
Star Wars The Clone Wars official trailer Disney Plus is what they called it.
Oh, okay.
It came out, 4 years ago. And
crazy.
maybe that's not it. The official tease.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yap for a minute while I try and find it. Oh, okay. Yeah. It's called Star Wars Clone Wars The Official Trailer is what it was called.
Oh,
5 years ago. 5 years ago. And
that's crazy.
I watched it and I was like, happy crying, because again the Clone Wars was my Star Wars. That was my thing. I sent it to my dad. I texted him. I was blowing up his phone. I was like, you need to watch this right now. Like this is, and he texted me back and he goes, bullshit. That wasn't real. And I was like, yes, it is. Look, it's from the original Star Wars account. And he said the same thing. He was like, dude, I just happy cried. I was like, that was. And again, I think knowing that was coming and also getting the immense success and satisfaction that came with The Mandalorian, similarly to what I talked about in the beginning of this episode, with the 501st, it just felt completely different from all the negativity and all the naysaying about Star Wars and Star Wars is dead and blah, blah, blah. It was just like, no, this is what Star Wars is right here. This is what, but yeah, that was... Yeah, that was his time. Man.
Even for us as well, while The Mandalorian was coming out, when The Rise of Skywalker was in theaters, that's arguably, hands down, my favorite sequel movie. It ranked really high on my list of all my top films. And I think Jacob and I watched it almost 4 or 5 times in the theater. And I mean, realistically, my only real genuine critique of the movie was I don't like the I am all the Jedi, because it's, in my opinion, I feel that it's very similar to Iron Man's, like...
I am Iron Man.
Yeah, the I am Iron Man from Endgame. I was, like, even in the moment, I was like, eh.
That was on the nose. Yeah, I cringed a little bit.
Yeah, but other than that, like, I I absolutely loved it because everything about it, in my opinion, was just amazing. I loved how it was just like constant action. Well, although that can be seen as a downfall, and I do understand people's perspectives on that, I just loved that it was like, okay, like the mission's going, and holy cow, the Emperor has this great grand army now, and we have to defeat it. And then it's like this big climactic finish to like the story. Like this is where it should like pull the curtains. Star Wars as a thing should end here. But now I guess we aren't ending there, because if we're going to do a movie based on what happens after the sequels, I'm interested to see what happens. Although I've heard people try to critique it as that Star Wars said that they were done with the Skywalker saga and now they're continuing with the Skywalker saga.
Oh no, someone said something and changed their mind?
Yeah, I would even just disagree in general. That's a continuation of the Skywalker saga. I feel like it very well could just be what's beyond.
Well, to me, I took that as they're just not making quote-unquote episode 10.
Yeah, like it's not going to be called episode 10. Like the trilogy is 9 movies because a trilogy is 3.
Yeah.
So you combine all those, and then everything else on top of that is an expansion of it.
Yeah. Now, that's funny you brought that up because, you know, so you had the Mandalorian show, you had the Knowing the Clone Wars was coming out in 2020, and then you had this movie. And I remember in the spring at Star Wars Celebration watching the live streams and seeing Ian McDiarmid on stage do the Palpatine. Roll it again.
That was crazy.
I lost my marbles, and I mean, I was always excited for Rise of Skywalker. I was a big Funko Pop collector at that time, and I was getting all the Funko Pops. I knew that all 6 of the Knights of Ren were exclusive. He hunted
for all the Knights of Ren at all the different stores,
and I kept them. I still have them displayed.
It's kind of a nice thing to have, though.
It is, because it was the story behind them. And I had like a Rey, I had Finn, Poe, Rose, Kylo. I had Sith Jet Troopers, every single one from that movie before the movie even came out. And then this is when I started to get into the Black Series. I had a Black Series.
That was our turning point for the Black Series.
I had a Black Series Captain Rex.
Yep.
And this was in, I think it was in October. I
found the picture of you in your room with the collection too. I put on one of my flash drives. I think it's on my phone somewhere.
Hell yeah. I remember I went in, I took my sister and her boyfriend at the time to Ghost Lake. You know where that is?
Yeah.
It's a little horror attraction. And this was when they were doing those first edition white boxes.
Yeah, dude.
And I found the Sith Trooper one at a local Walmart. I was waiting for them to be done, so I was looking around and I found Sith Trooper. I was like, oh, cool, Sith Trooper. And then I got a First Order Stormtrooper. And then I was looking for the Rey and the Kylo. And that was also nice because it was like on top of the excitement of the show and the movie, I had the collecting aspect that I was starting to get into. And it was creating this perfect storm of fandom to kind of just suck me back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about you for the collecting?
Yeah, the Clone Wars final season is what really got me back into collecting. It was the Walmart
Black Series wave.
Yeah, the Walmart Black Series wave, and I ordered 2 of the Mandalorian Death Watch, not Death Watch, pardon me, the Mandalorian basically, and then 2 of the 332nd Troopers. And I was trying to cancel the part of my order, and they canceled my 332nd Troopers. And I tried calling Walmart, and I was on the phone for like 15 minutes because I was in my dorm and I was frustrated. And I was like, I just canceled this, but it was a pre-ordered item. And they're like, well, you could order it again. I was like, it's a pre-ordered item and it's sold out. I can't order it again. They're like, well, I guess you can't get it. I was like, it was on pre-order and you said I was going to get something. Me. So we were luckily saved when Jacob was at Walmart with my mom.
I remember that.
He was looking around and he saw a whole end cap of the Clone Wars figures put on, and he like dashed and grabbed every single figure that they had and they bought them all. And I was able to get my 332nd Trooper and my Mandalorian came later. And those were some of the first figures I had displayed in my dorm room were those. And that really inspired me then to get, I had Captain Cardinal, I had Commander Bly, because that had just like very recently come back in stock on Big Bad, and it still is in stock on bigbad.com. I had those. I had Hondo Anaka was another one that I got really early on, because I waited in, that was the other thing too, I waited in front of Target until it opened to get the brand new Star Wars action figures, which I'd never done before. And now I make it a reoccurring tradition. And I will be doing it again in March when the double pack Trooper comes out.
Well, you better believe I will also be doing it, because Target canceled my damn order.
I was see, at this point, we have no competition when we go to Target in the morning. And it's crazy, because when I would go for Cardinal and Hondo, there was typically like 2 or 3 other collectors that were there trying to get a figure too. And then it got to the point where they just didn't show up anymore.
They died.
I'm pretty sure they either got it or they didn't get it.
They died.
I really hope they didn't. I mean, like, that would be unfortunate.
Hey, bro, we're thinning the herd. We gotta we gotta make sure we don't have no competition.
It's also easier just to buy the stuff online.
It is.
And I've also had people come in like an hour after Target opens to find something. Right. Jeff has done that when we were going for the Duels and Vader and the Oppo. He came a little bit later.
Dude, and we were like, Jeff, you gotta get me out, dude.
Why does he stress you out?
Because like he'll like just wait for like hours for no reason.
And he'll wait, and I'm like, Jeff, you have to come right now or it's gonna sell out.
Well, you know, I might go pick it up tomorrow. I'm like, no, get it today.
But we can always just pick one up for you in the future, Jeff, if you really want us, if you're listening. But yeah, I feel like the collecting, again, really helped solidify me back into Star Wars 2, because it was that. I think I had a Funko or two. I'm trying to remember what my dorm looked like freshman year.
You were getting
I had everything
the Bad Batch Funko Pops.
Yes, Jacob helped me get all the Bad Batch Funko Pops, because I got every single one except Echo, because Echo was the most desirable one to get.
Yeah.
And we hunted and hunted forever until I finally... No, he found it at a CVS for me, because I was about to cave and buy it on Big Bad.
That was weird for a little bit.
CVS still has the Bad Batch Funko. Like, I'll go to the CVS that's right next to my school.
Are they still open? Because
yeah,
I know some are turning into just drive-thrus now.
They're still open. They're a 24/7 one, so they're going to stay open.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, there was the, you know, and again, it was like this perfect storm. And I remember the Rise of Skywalker movie. I think, honestly, part of it was, I mean, when I watch it now, it depends on my mood. Like, sometimes I'm like, I feel like I'm in a wooden roller coaster, and I'm getting thrashed around everywhere. But then there's other times where I'm like, I'm in it, and I'm like just following the whole thing, and you know, there were little things like knowing that first planet at the beginning was Mustafar made me as a prequel fan feel represented in some weird way. Or like hearing Anakin's voice and Mace Windu's voice.
Yeah, dude, hearing all the Jedi, Ahsoka and Kanan and Ezra, and be like, oh my gosh, it's all of you.
Yeah, that movie, it's a blockbuster movie, and it was great. I mean, I loved tons of moments in that movie. And again, it you know, say what you will about it, I thought it really helped solidify my love for Star Wars again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have much to say on it. I think that also, though, it was really helpful that we had, on the gaming side of things, Battlefront 2 was still getting content updates.
At the time.
As part of that, they did a Rise of Skywalker update.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
that was, because it was the, oh my gosh, it's the Rise of Skywalker map, right?
Agent Kloss is the name of the planet.
Yeah, I don't like that map.
Base. I love that map.
I remember when The Last Jedi came out, though, and we got, oh my gosh, it's Crate, and we got Crate, dude. That's such a fun map to play on sometimes, except if you're getting shit on, because then it isn't fun to play. But, like, going in the speeder things with, like, the red dust flying everywhere.
For sure.
Like, that was the coolest thing. I was like, holy cow, I'm doing the thing that they did in the movie. And it's, like, super cool. And the game still holds up, even though it's 6 years old. And it's got probably 4 more years left in it before EA pulls the plug. Please, EA.
Yeah, dude, that was they brought Supremacy game mode to the sequel era. They They brought in the new map. They had Kylo Ren's Supreme Leader skin.
Yup.
There
The
was
Rey
just
Skywalker skin with the yellow saber too.
BB-8 and BB-9E. Yeah, dude,
It was a combo of everything dropping at the right time to fill gaps in so many different areas of our lives. In the media, in the collecting, in the gaming, for our off time. It was, again, just a perfect full storm to bring people like us back into the hobby and the fandom.
You know what I can't believe you haven't brought up yet?
What?
The other Star Wars game that came out right a month before, in the midst of all this.
Are you talking about Jedi Survivor?
Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh, Jedi Fallen Order. That's what I meant. Yeah, Jedi Fallen Order was crazy for what it was. And it's only better that its sequel was even better than the first and got even more love than the first game. And they're already working on the next. Oh my gosh, Cameron Monaghan, who's Monahan, who plays Cal Kestis, already confirmed that they are making the next game at one of their conventions, which was kind of funny for him to say. But it's just such a great game. I just hope that they keep making it and expanding the story, because there's so many awesome like lore beats and things that it follows, because although it exists in this age of the Empire that Kenobi is in, it also does its own thing to show us what else is happening in the galaxy, and that things are very much still bustling and going beyond what the Empire is doing.
Yeah, that was also fun because I haven't played a good first person or a single player game in a long time, and I loved Jedi Fallen Order. The story was great. I loved the callbacks to Order 66. I loved the villains. I loved the freaking Darth Vader cameo at the end was ridiculous.
It's insane.
And just how you can't fight him. You have to just run from him.
Yeah, because he's just too strong to even like touch to begin with. Jacob went crazy over that game, so it was even funnier to see when the next one came out how he almost actually beat it in a day, but then I'm pretty sure he wanted 100% of the game already, which is crazy to me because I'm not even going to be able to do that. I should still go back and do the bounties because that's still another part of the game I never touched because it allows you to keep playing it and exploring sections, but at least for the story, I'm done with it. And I really loved it too.
Yeah. I mean, for me, dude, that was the thing. And I had the Cal Kestis and BD1 action figure and the Second Sister action figure, I remember. And this was back when I still kept my Black Series. I would open them, but then put them back in the box and keep them in their boxes.
Move. I have the picture of the whole box this way that you had. Bro. Well, because you would stack a box in front of box and you couldn't even see the damn figure at that point.
Don't say that.
Inbox collectors being like...
Me with a Star Wars room now. Yeah, dude, it was... I mean, when you just think about this perfect storm of bringing people into this franchise, you had the announcement of the comeback of a TV show that was so many people's favorite. You had a brand new TV show that was a slam dunk from episode 1. And you had collectibles and action figures that were coming out that corresponded with the new content coming out. And then you had the video games that were also corresponding with new and original content, as well as corresponding with the new content in the movie industry and in the series. All of that together, I think, really helped shape my Star Wars love back into made me feel like a kid again. I think that's what I appreciate, and I've never turned back.
Nope.
Not for a day. I've never turned back.
They keep coming out with stuff, and I feel like at this point, when Star Wars ends, I feel like I'll still be as big as I was into Star Wars because the narrative has expanded so much that I can always revisit my favorite parts of the story.
Right. But, yeah, I would say that's what brought back, that Star Wars came back, you know.
They made its great comeback.
Yeah, but, as they do every single time a new show comes out.
Yeah. But I feel like that's all we had on that. I know in the collecting aspect, maybe just to briefly mention it traditionally as we do at the end of the episode.
Yes, we do.
There was the Hasbro fan stream. We did a Tika's episode on all of that. If you have not watched it, please be sure to check that out. The only news that we didn't really cover this week that we probably will next week is all of the new Lego sets that were announced.
Yeah, for the 25th.
The 25th anniversary. And I will unfortunately, shamelessly be buying that Tanta 4 playset so I can get 5s, because I have to at this point. If I waited this long to get the 5s Black Series figure, I might as well get the dang Lego 2 to match it. So I think that would be funny.
Yeah, the buildable ship sets are cool too. The little invisible hand is neat.
Yeah, I thought those were pretty dope too, as like a new way to make like ship models that people can display.
Yeah.
Especially with prequel ship being one of the first ones introduced for it too.
Yeah.
Then it's the Invisible Hand, the Falcon, and
Tantive 4.
Tantive 4. I hope they expand it more from there. What if we saw a mini Venator?
Ooh.
I think that would be a really cool idea, because you could have the big scale and the small scale, but I don't think they'll do it because the Venator's out right now and they want you to buy the more expensive one.
True that.
But maybe they'll do it for the Star Destroyer or something like that. I don't know. Yeah. We'll have to see if this subline of Lego picks up, because now they have to fill the void of not having helmet sets anymore. RIP to the helmet sets.
Oh, they're done?
Yeah, they're done with helmet sets. Like, that's something we talked about like months ago.
I feel like I remember that.
Because Lego kind of just like soft confirmed that they weren't coming out with them anymore, because it got to the point where a new helmet set should have come out to meet the patterns and it didn't come out, and it was kind of almost confirmed then that Rex and Cody were going to be the last two. So if you can get Rex and Cody, I would 100% get it. I had so much fun building both of them. They're amazing Lego sets, and they're perfect to display too.
Yeah.
And they're really high quality and they look amazing. So
for sure,
should do it. If you want to buy a bunch, you could do that and then customize them to be other legions, because people have instructions on how to do that online. Make a phase 2 gray Cody, yada yada yada, all sorts of stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's all I got. That's all
I got. Yeah, I think this is the end of the show now. Oh,
3 weeks till Bad Batch.
Woo! 3 weeks. I can't believe it. It's so close. I need it like right now. It's like the week after Valentine's Day, I think, is when it comes out.
Yep. So, with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching yet another episode of the 1313 Podcast, the most mediocre podcast in the Star Wars universe. Make sure to follow us on all of our social media, which will be linked in the description below. Make sure to join our Discord. It's free. You can join that Discord, check out conversations with other awesome Star Wars fans and collectors. Also, if you'd like, you can join our channel membership for 99 cents a month. You can get involved in that. Exclusive access to badges, stickers, priority in our comment section, and early access to some of our reviews.
I just threw up in my mouth a little bit. That sucked, bro. I was trying to show off Omega and then I almost just upchucked on the show. My bad. Join the Patreon if you want to try to get Omega, or if you can't get Omega, then we're going to have a prize next month.
This video would have already come out by the time Omega got given away, so...
Too late! Too late!
Stay tuned.
Too little, too late, Star Wars fans!
Too little, too late, Disney shill! Hasbro shill. Yeah, and join the Patreon, and don't check out our merch, because we are working on a different website for the merch.
Please don't buy merch. Actually, please don't buy merch. We'll announce new merch soon.
Goodbye, everybody!
Bye! Bye!
Hey, this is Vanessa Marshall. I play Hera Syndulla on Star Wars Rebels, and you're listening to the 1313 Podcast.
Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Hum da da hum da da hum dum dum da. Hum da da hum da da dum dum da dum. Ba-do 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 ba-dum ba-ba-dum ba-dum ba-do ba-dum ba-do ba-dum dum. Hum da dum hum da da hum dum 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 dum. Hum dum da dum hum da da hum dum da da. Hey, hum da da dum da dum da. Hum da dum da dum da dum da. Dum da da ba da dum dum da ba ba da ba da.